Good morning and welcome to Plannercraft.
Hope you can hear us
Hopefully you
okay.
can hear me okay this morning. There we go, that's the screen I wanted. And hopefully you can see my screen okay. Morning Deb. So just very quickly I wanted to show you on Facebook where you find the notifications. So hopefully you all get your announcements to say that we are going to be going live. So just over here when you have your favourite page loaded.
Can I just make a little point?
What?
You're in the group.
That's right, it still works for it's the same place for all of them. Makes no difference where you are.
Okay, you can do it on the group. Okay, that's fine.
So morning Sally, morning Zena, morning Tina. How's the weather everybody? We've got snow. I don't know what everybody else is up to this morning. So as I was saying, there's 3 little dots on the side here next to your, if you click there and you can go to manage notifications and you can have it for all posts, highlights, friends posts or off. And what you want to do, because we're admin at houses, it's very soon if people ask to join. If you click all posts, then every time we go live or we post anything, you will get the notification to say that we've gone live. Cold and dry, something cold. Okay. So it's just us with snow at the moment.
Yeah. Even then it's slowed down for us a little bit at the moment.
Yeah. And if you change it, depending on what you've done, it'll come up with save if you change your settings. I don't want to change it because we want all posts to pop up, so every time somebody posts in the group, it comes up.
So for our lives, you want to do that same action on our page as well as on the group.
Yeah, so you can do that everywhere. So just look for the 3 little dots at the side here, and then it's the top one on the list. Morning Linda, morning Beatrice, morning Tracy on YouTube. This is just in Facebook at the moment, just to show people where to find the notifications and how to
Find us.
find us.
There's been a few questions about why they're not getting notifications.
So that's where they are. So manage notifications and then click it to all at the top. I think by default it does most popular, I think, or something like that. It doesn't always come up with the top one. So, and morning Claire. Tuning in for the first time, we're working from home.
Yeah. Work-based learning, work-based learning.
Absolutely. So Tracy's over on YouTube watching. That's cool. Linda's in, Zena's in. I've already said hello to Beatrice. If I've missed anybody, give me a prod and I'll say hello again. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Natalie. So hopefully you can hear us okay today. We've got a new mic to play with. So
Yep.
we'll see how that goes.
It's a bit weird, but we'll see.
So overhead for you first.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And there you go. So that should be with you.
Okay, so in yesterday's class we made an envelope with an aperture and we welded our word to it and we've done a little bit of drawing. Now today we're going to make the card to go into that and then we're going to do a bit of detail cutting and we can have a little play and see what we come up with. So firstly what you're going to want to do is grab a ruler and we are going to measure our envelope. Now you can either work in centimetres or you can work in inches, the choice is yours. And for the size of envelope that I have, I think I'm going to work in inches because it's just going to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go for 7 inches. Actually, can you just pass me a clean piece of paper please? Yeah. Just so I can write this down. Because I'm going to need to be able to remember this. Okay. So we're going to make a card. And we want 7 inch on our long edge. Then we're going to measure our short edge and you want to again go inside the edge of your envelope. And I'm going to go for 3 3/4 inches. Now obviously that's only going to go up to our score line. So our full size of our shape is going to be 7.5. Oh dear, Natty not had a good morning this morning. Okay, so can we swap onto the close-up?
What was the scan cut?
Yeah.
Yep, done.
Okay, so I'm going to go to pattern. I'm going to go to basic shapes. Now if you wanted to just do a straight edge card, you could just choose one square or rectangle depending on the rough sizes that your box are coming out to. Or if you want to go a bit more decorative, you can do 2 decorative edge rectangles and join them in the middle. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's go down to, let's go for this one. Okay. Now you're going to size that, so first of all we're going to get our width up to that 7 inches. Okay. Now at this point you'd be tempted to go and press this button, which means that we can edit our width independently. But because there's such a big difference between this figure and the actual width that I want for my card, you're going to actually distort all this border detail, which we don't want to do. So at this point I'm just going to go to my number and I'm going to put 2. So that's going to put 2 copies of that shape onto our mat. And we can go set. So there's our 2 copies.
Also on YouTube.
Now because I want a guide, again I'm going to go to add, pattern, basic shape, and I want a nice thin rectangle. And again I'm going to set that width to our 7.5 so that I can use it as a guide.
Morning Tanya, good to hear that you're getting over your COVID, that's good to hear.
And because I just want it as a little strip, I'm just going to reduce my height so that it fits a bit easier onto the mat. And we can add that to our mat. Now at this point we're going to want to rotate that because we want to measure this edge. So whenever we rotate anything, particularly if it's a large shape, we want to bring it into the middle of our mat first so that it can rotate nice and easily. So we're going to rotate and 90, and then we can bring that up there. Now if you want to be really super duper accurate, you can select your 2 rectangles. We can go to our move, align, and align to the top, and like so. And we'll go OK. I'm going to click off that. Now this one we're going to want to move up, but you're going to want to do that in such a way that where it overlaps you keep that border detail nice and neat. Now this is where it can become a little bit tricky. So when you've got it more or less where you think, because if we do it to that one it's going to be almost too long. Bear in mind our envelope is a fixed point. I'm just going to bring that in there a little bit.
Morning Claire and morning Sonia. Welcome to our first time viewers. Hopefully you're enjoying the what we're doing. So this morning we're making a card to go with a envelope that we made yesterday. If you do want to watch yesterday's, it is up on the planner craft page in the videos under the live streams.
Okay, so I'm going to select both of our card rectangles, go OK, into Object Edit, and then we can weld them together. And there you go, we have our card blank. You want to check at this point that you're happy, because once you do that weld you can't go back. And we'll go OK.
Claire wants to know what sort of pencil you're using to prod.
Okay, to prod, it is a pencil eraser, so if I try and get it to focus a little bit. And it just gives a little bit of resistance, so whereas when you're working with a plastic stylus sometimes it can feel a bit slippy. So I switched to using an eraser just so it gave me that little bit extra control. Okay. So now we need to find a piece of card that matches what our shape measures. So, do you want to pop back overhead for a minute, Ian? We have a few options. Let's see if one of them will fit. So we've got 6.98 by 7, so it's more or less square. And that one will do it nicely. So we've got a two-sided card here. So if you're thinking, oh, what do I do about the inside? You can put a nice insert into it, or you can use the decorative side for the outside of your card, and so you've got the pink on the inside. So the choice is yours, and it really does depend on what you did with your original envelope.
Do you want to show the envelope quick?
So, very quickly.
It's done.
I've buried it. So I'm just going to pop those bits in there for a minute. There we go. So there's our original envelope. So if I just open that up and then slide this in so you can see what I mean. So you can have that pink that's going to fill your aperture, or you can have the blue. I think the pink too. But it really does depend on the paper that you made your initial envelope out of. So if you weren't watching yesterday, we're trying to use up some scraps and be very frugal, aren't we? So I'm going to bring in my Artistics cutting mat. Peel off the backing sheet. Yes, we do. So I'm going to pop this onto my mat, like so. Okay, so I've just lined it up on this edge here. And then we can drop down our scan and cut and load on that. Okay, are you going back to close?
I've gone to the one with all three, but I can change it to close if you want to.
Yes, please.
Okay, come close.
Okay, so we're going to go OK. OK again. Now this little button here is our background scan, so that means that we can see what's on the mat actually on screen and just make sure that everything fits and that we're happy with how everything's working. So when you do this, it's going to go all the way through your machine and back, so make sure that behind your machine is clear when you're using this function. I think because it's still got a curve in the mat, it's catching it a little bit. Okay, so you can just see that our shape comes just inside that line there. So it's really close to that edge, but I'm sure we'll be okay. So this one's a fairly simple shape for it to cut, so I'm going to use my standard auto blade.
Just swap views so you can.
Okay.
Don't know if you want to move
Yeah, do you want to give me transition so I can put the camera ready? So I'm going to go OK. I'm going to go to cut. Going to go into settings. Now at the moment I have my cut pressure set for my vinyl blade, which is at -5. So with my standard blade I take it down to -9, and I just find that gives a really neat finish when you are working with corners or tight curves. So go OK. Oh, nearly. Cut speed. I'm just going to take that button down to 1. It's because I was working with something that was a bit complex the other day. There we go.
Please excuse the
Camera that's in my way. So I'm going to go OK. And let's go start.
DJ Natty's back.
Gonna have to do something about that cable tidy as well.
It's only just on camera, but yeah, I can put it to the other end, it's fine. It can come down, so for now, leave it there, it's fine.
If you pulled it down a bit, you could use it to tidy it up down here, so it's not dangling. So quiet, this one, isn't it?
It is. So, as Linda said in the comments, if there are any questions, don't be afraid to ask. It doesn't have to be about what we're particularly doing. If you have any scan and cut questions, craft questions, don't be afraid to ask. If we can't answer it directly on screen, we will drop you a message afterwards. But do drop us a message, or if you have a question to ask during the stream, just ask away. There's no such thing as a silly question. We will answer anything that, most questions, won't we?
Yeah. Okay. So you always want to check that everything is cut properly before you remove it from the machine. So I'm just going to take that bit and keep that to hand in case we use it for a layer. There we go. So we have a decorative edge card. Next I'm going to pull out our patterned card. Now I'll try and do all my cutting at once today. Try. So if you have something like this where you have your designs on a white background and you would like, tell you what, let's make this a little easier. I'm going to cut it up because when we're working with the scanner, it's easier if you bring it in from the edge. So let's go down there. So I'm just going to do that one to there. Then I can cut the next bit off, and we can apply that one there, like so.
Go back to close up.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I'm going to go OK, home to wipe everything out, going to go to scan, direct cut because we're cutting directly out of this card. Then you can choose if you're going to use the machine or if you want to use canvas. So in this case, I'm just going to get it to use the machine. Next, if we go to settings, it's going to give you two options. You can either go black and white or colour. So I always say that's a bit of a misnomer. So black and white is for anything that is high contrast, so something like the paper that we're working on where you've got a white background and really colourful or deep colours. So you've got high contrast between the background and the foreground. Whereas your colour is more for low contrast, so if you've got like a sort of textured background with something over the top, then that's the option you would go for then. Okay. We're going to go start, and if you haven't already changed your scanner lever, it's going to come up with a little warning. So what that is basically saying is at the moment it's in position 2, so it's raised up, and if you were to scan at this point it may not get the best focus on what you're scanning. So if we drop it down, if I can get my hand in there, there we go, then that's going to lower that glass so that when it scans it's going to be in better focus. And then we can go start. It's more likely to catch at this point because you've lowered your scan glass. So if you're scanning something that's thicker or has layers to it, so for instance if we were to scan our Technique manual cover, then you'd want to leave it at 2. Okay, so we can go OK, and you can see all the bits that it's picked up. So it's picked quite a few bits up. So you're going to want to do a little bit of tweaking so that it focuses on the ones that you actually want to cut out. So if we go to...
That being late, it's fine. You can always catch up. So we do leave the videos up so you can watch them back.
Yeah. So if we go to ignore object size, we can actually increase that or lower it as needed to, so that we can rule out the smaller items on the map. So if I go, I'm going to go up a little bit. And as we go up, you can see things are dropping out all the time as to what it will cut. Now, the other thing is where we've got this line that's coming around this edge here, what that's actually going to do is cut out this background. Now, that could damage your map potentially, so you do want to edit that. With the DX, it's much easier to edit your direct cutting than it is on the CM. So if we go OK, the other thing that we can do is we can actually use our marquee to bring it in so that it stops seeing something. So you can see already it's ignoring this edge here now. So if we bring that in this edge here, we might be able to eliminate that. Just going to bring that edge in there. And then there's a few little bits and pieces down here that we may want to do manually. So just going through, just checking everything I wanted to pick up is picked up. And I've gone a little bit too far because I just want this flowering down here. So we can just try and get that. There we go. We've got the leaves. Might take that bit out and that bit out just because it goes off the edge of the mat. And there's a few other bits and pieces that we might cut out manually. So if we go to preview, then go OK,
welcome to Mandy, who's a newbie to our channel. This is just so informative, thank you. She has the earliest scan and cut, so she has cutting sound envy.
Yeah, we have both. And
yes, we do have a CM model as well. So.
I'm sure our neighbours prefer it when we use this one. Okay, so we can actually go in after we've done our scan and actually delete items. So if you think that it's not picking up the areas that you want it to, you can just go in and delete that out of the way. So same over here. Now one of the times that you're going to have loads of shapes on the mat is when you do this process. So you have these 2 arrows here, and that's so that you can cycle through the different paths that are on the mat. So if I tap this one, you can see it's working its way through, and if there's anything you don't want, you can just hit delete. So if it's particularly tiny, I then tend to get rid. But your ignore object button does a lot of that work for you. There's just going to be a few random bits where they're long and thin usually. I'm just going to try and get that a little bit down there. Let's get that.
You've done that line at the bottom.
Yeah, this bit down here. Let's delete that. There's that little line there. I'm going to delete that. Okay. And then with our rows here, it's picked up an awful lot of detail. But we actually don't need any of that, so we can actually just go in and delete either individually, or if we go to our multi-select, click off so that we've got nothing selected. We're going to go into our marquee, and we can actually select an entire area that we can then go and take out.
Tracy's asked, what's the button do underneath your trash can? If you go back your screen.
That's your paper pricking. So if you have paper pricking enabled and you have a paper pricking mat, so that's the important bit, you need to have the mat for it to work. We've tried faking, it doesn't work. So you have to have the mat, and so that's one of the things that's on my wish list, isn't it?
Touched. Knowing the Chinook's going past.
That's slightly worrying. Even more worrying.
At high speed.
Okay, so there's this bit there as well that I'm just going to take out. And a little line across the bottom there. So this one just here, that's also another one where it's picked up the wrong information. So we can just take that out too. So again, we can go into our little marquee area. Go OK. And delete. And we can take out the leaves here as well. And that little tiny bit there. So it's worth taking the time to work your way through so that you're happy with what it is cutting and that it's not going to go off the edge of the mat. And that little loop there needs to come off too. And we're going to go OK. Now your next option is to add an offset. So this button just here is your offset button. So if you click on that, it's going to go into offset, and then we can just add a slight outline. So I only take it up 1 notch and that's enough. So we can go OK. Now bear in mind, if you have 2 shapes that are close together, If you then do an offset, it's actually going to, and it overlaps, it's going to cut both offsets. It won't automatically think to weld it. So that's particularly important if you're working with lettering, for instance. Usually that's when offset causes issues. So we can go OK. Now, as we're going to be cutting something that can be quite detailed, I'm just going to switch back to my vinyl blade. So, there we go. Pop that in. Going to go to cut. Okay, so I've gone into settings and I'm going to set it back to that -5. Okay. And off it can go. Ah. Hope Choco's okay, Sarah Lou. No.
How long was that for?
7 minutes.
So say about.
Yes.
You've got. So you can hold it in front.
Okay, I'll hold it in front. Okay, so this month's competition goes up to February the 15th. Can't imagine why. So at that point, we'll decide on a winner. But the competition is to do your technique manual cover. So if you go on our blog, which is plannercraft.uk, not .co.uk, just .uk, then you can see how I put this one together. So it's reasonably simple. But if you want to make it ultra complicated, you can. If you want to go even simpler and use some stamping instead, you can also do that. So this one just uses lots of pattern paper, a pre-printed topper and a little sentiment here on some clear adhesive. You can add a calendar if you wish, but that's entirely your choice.
Do any links to places that sell the new vinyl blade to Australia? I will look into that for you, Tracy, and let you know. I'll drop you a message later when I find out. And morning, Beverly. You don't have to apologise for being a little late. It's fine. I said that we leave these videos up, so you can always watch them back from the Plannercraft on the Plannercraft page on Facebook or on YouTube. It's all sat on our Plannercraft YouTube as well. Or Twitch, I believe, for so many days it sits.
Yeah, with Twitch it's on there for about a week.
It's longer than that, I think, because we're Prime, so it lasts a bit longer.
Oh right, okay. I think blades at the moment are scarce anywhere. Not just the vinyl blade, but the standard blades are increasingly hard to get hold of at the moment due to, I think, manufacturing more so than anything else, just having people actually there to make them. A lot of
I'll make some inquiries.
yeah, see what we can do. It might be worth you talking to Michelle Schofield and see if her contacts would be able to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You do realise you're trying to talk quietly now, it's useless because you.
I know, I have a microphone right under my nose. I could be walking around the house and everybody'd still be able to hear me.
25 minutes left.
Okay. So, I haven't said what they stand to win.
You haven't? Would you like a...
So, I said the competition. I haven't told people how to put up their entry or anything. Sorry, I got distracted. So, When you're ready to upload your picture of your cover, if you go into the group, so that's Scan and Cut and Papercraft Courses, Classes and Workshops by Plannercraft. Longest name ever. But I could see it going and I couldn't do anything there, Ian, sorry. If you go into the media tab, there is an album that I've set up this morning with a photo of my particular cover. And then you can upload your photo into there. And the prize is a limited edition Universal pen holder and Sharpie pen holder set, and the foil quill adapter gift set as well. So this is quite handy because, yeah, I got mine stuck on my foil quill, so the other two quite happily sit with those on them. And then you also have a cable tidy, which you can just about see if it moves the camera over slightly. Hello, can you mention about pencil again, please? I missed the answer. Right, okay. So the pencil is just a pencil eraser. So it has this rather funky brush on the end. The idea being that when you're doing your erasing on your paper, you can just brush it away. But because it just gives that little bit of resistance against the screen, it's quite good if you're doing lots of fiddly work. Okay.
Those are your prizes.
Yep, so those are the prizes. But the cable tidy is very handy, isn't it?
Yes. And very sticky.
Yes, very, very sticky. So once it's on your machine, it takes quite a bit to get it off.
Let's pop those up there so they're easy to find. Do you want to mention about vinyls as well? Not vinyls, foils.
Foils, right,
New
foils.
for me, hopefully.
So, the foils we currently have are rose gold, gunmetal, white, silver and gold. And at the moment you can buy them as a mixed pack. I think, are you going to put the individual colours up later?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so the new colours are, do you want to pass me the swatch?
Your pencils. Or the one you can get Stadler ones, can't you?
You can get Stedler ones. This isn't one. This is more like the Pergamano ones.
Do you want the codes?
Yes, please. So I know which ones I'm showing to camera.
Okay, we're not going to do that one, are we?
No.
No. Okay, so you have 6080.
6080, which is this one just here. So if I try and get the light to catch it, there we go.
6069.
6069 down here.
6072.
6072. Just there.
And the 6657.
6657, did you say?
Purple.
Ah, they're all purple, so this one just here. Which is really lush. So these work with your foil quill or your heat wave. They also work if you are doing the adhesive method. So if you have the Brother foil kit, if you have a quickie glue pen, they'll work with that too. The only thing it won't work with is if you're doing the laser toner method with a laminator, because the heat will just bond it to everything.
I do my best for shipping, Tracy. I won't charge you that much for it. I try and keep postage costs as low as possible for you.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the Royal Mail's just put their prices up. Okay, so now that's done, I can peel away.
We're going to be picking another one, aren't we, as well?
Yes, we are going to be picking one extra colour. So, if you have a particular colour that you would like us to consider, then do drop us a message, or if you want to pop it in the group, there's a post on the group, isn't there, that's about new colours.
There's a lot of good prices and I love those colours.
Okay.
Alright then, I'll work out some prices and I'll get back to everybody with the prices.
So one of the things I am going to do is I'm just going to pull in my bee, because it's a handy little receptacle for all these little bits. And the idea being we can then build these up into a little design.
Oh no. Oh, let's hope he's okay. Sorry, she. She's got to have her salivary gland removed.
I know. Okay, so this is one of those ones where your metal spatula is going to come in really handy whenever you've got a lot of detail or anything that is fragile. That one I don't really want because it's kind of cut through itself, so I can get rid. Yeah. It's one of those ones where if you look for the right pads to work with, some of them are really, really good for doing this with. So this one comes from, I can always see the logo, I can never think of the name. Is it Craft Essentials? The range from the range. A nice pad you got me. So I've done quite a few different projects with this pad because it has like a sheet of cut apart sentiments too, which is really good. Now you don't have to use a scan and cut to cut those out, but it can be interesting to do that so that you can put a decorative shape around them. Okay. And you just want to make sure that you get any little bits off your mat too. Okay.
Keep you in check or not.
So with our little bits there, I think the last thing we want is some sort of sentiment. So I'm going to go for the dark blue. So again, because it's directional, I'm putting it the right way up on the mat, so it's nice and easy to use. Okay, so I'm going to go OK and home. I'm going to go to pattern, go to our sentiments, and in here you have a fair few to scroll through. I'm thinking let's go for the congrats. Now, we know that our card is only going to be 3.5 inches wide at most. So something that is 6 inches is just going to be no good, so we're going to need to shrink that down. Now, as you're doing that, if you start to think, well, actually that's looking a bit too thin, then what you may want to do is just reconsider which one you're going to go for. So I'm going to go back.
Why are you 3.5 inches wide?
Because your card's going to score down there in to go in the envelope.
Why don't you do it that way?
A long one.
You've got a bit longer then.
I was going to go for a nice slimline card that way, but you want to go for a slimline card that way. Okay.
I think at least then you can keep your congrats and...
Okay. So we'll go a bit bigger then.
Tell me to shut if you want. Do they ever update these patterns? Every now and then, not very often.
Yeah, not very.
They don't tend to upgrade them.
In terms of extra designs, you are better off looking at people like design bundles. So we put a lot of designs up on the group that we find and we go, oh, that one works really well.
We try and find the free ones first.
Yep. Okay, so I'm happy with the side of that. Next thing we want to do is we want to do a background scan. Just because we've got some holes in our offcuts.
This one, she's on.
Okay, so I'm going to take this word here and I'm going to bring it down. Now, at the moment, you're struggling to see that on this really busy background. So if we go to settings, you have two options for your scan. So you can have it darker or paler. So if we change it to paler and go OK, you can see that we have our cut line more easily visible. If I can put my teeth back in. So I'm just going to move that down a little bit because I'm just wary of this bit here. I can go OK. I'm going to go to cut and I'll do it with the same blade.
So any questions while we're waiting for that just to cut? It's not going to take long. But
No, it only takes 2 minutes. So, do you want to pass me the Hoogie board and I can score this card while we're waiting? Okay. Oh, don't knock the mic. Okay. Let's move these big scissors out of the way because they're scary. So what I tend to do with my scoreboard is I use my 6-inch line as the middle point, and then I'm just going to line it up so that we're in the middle.
and Tracy has to have a new book coming on.
It's getting there. I did a lot of the boring bits yesterday. The boring, tedious bits. But I have a project that I'm going to get the DT to just do, to just check that it all makes sense. Because it's quite a complex one for a beginning point. Okay.
Camera couldn't see you scoring that because it was it's focused on there, not on
Oh, okay.
what you're up to. So you just might want to show what you've done
Yeah,
after.
I'll show what
We'll
I've
move
done
the
after.
card
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy. I will move it afterwards. Your cutting mat is much stickier than my own mats. Yep, the mat we're using is an Artistics mat, which are a lot stickier than your brother mats.
Yeah. They last
they're a little
longer.
bit cheaper as well. They'll last a lot longer longevity-wise, and all you need to clean them is a lint roller. So they are very, very good. If you are looking to purchase them, they are from artisticsdirect.com, and if you drop me a private message, or Natalie a private message, or on the group, we have a discount code that we are allowed to give out, which gives you a 10% discount. So that's always helpful. So if you are looking at ordering some new mats, then just drop me a message and I will happily give you that 10% discount code.
Okay. So there's our congrats. And first of all, let's get our little dot and put that to, let's put it over here so I don't lose it. I'm just going to do the bottom of this G first, because then once we go from one end it's a lot easier. So just get underneath, and the same with that loop of that C. Now for the fun bit. So I'm just going to gently coax it off the mat.
Yeah, he does two different types of mats. So he does one for the CM models, and he does some with the SDX as well, so you can get both. So yes, they'll work with both machines.
Yeah, just make sure when you're ordering, yeah, get the right one.
When you're ordering. Again, if you want me to send you the link to the right mat, I can do that as well. I'll look it up for you.
He also does a fabric mat, which you haven't mentioned yet.
I don't know if he's still doing them. I think he still does them for the CM, but I don't know if he does them for the DX anymore.
Last time I asked, it was a case of we had to do a special order for them.
Yeah.
There we go. So there's our sentiment. We'll pop that there, and we'll just take off our little extra pieces here, and those can just go in the bin.
Hi Katrina.
So at this point I'm going to take my blade out and put the cap back on.
Yeah, the mats are amazing. They're going to just show quickly.
Yep. So there we go.
So they're Natastix mat, and they are
so
much tackier.
The thing you're looking for when you want to check whether it's a DX mat or a CM mat is the registration marks up here. So if they're squares, then you know it's a DX mat. If they're circular dots, then you know it's a CM.
Put your cover on it.
Depends, is it going to stay today?
Probably not.
Okay. So.
But the Natastix mats are a good investment, Katrina. As I said, if you do need to get some, we have a 10% discount code which we can offer, and Lee also ships them worldwide. So if you do want one, doesn't matter where you are, he will ship it anywhere best he can.
Okay, so there's our congrats, and if you want to do like a white shadow layer, you can do. In actual fact,
Should we move the camera quick?
I'm thinking. Yeah.
Let me just change the screen so I can see where the camera's going. Yep, drop us a message and I'll get that across to you. So I'm just going to move the camera back.
So I'm going to pull out the biggest pieces first, just so that I can then get my layout right. And if you want to save some pieces for the front of your envelope, you can do. But I think just so that we get some contrast, I'm going to...
Are you finished with the machine now?
Yes, yep. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I'm thinking it would be nice to do like a little bit of gesso behind that, just make that pop up a bit. But just because of time, I'm not going to do that on this one, but if that's something that you want to do, you could do that. Then I'm going to do most of my flower work into this corner. So let's go for that first. So if we go like so, go down into that corner there. And you could put that one in front, or you could tuck it behind. Let's go in front actually, like so. And then we've got our little green flower that we could put in there. And I'm going to see if I can get this to work for me. Now, let's first of all see what's going on here. Right. There we go. So I have a bit of press and seal. I might need to do a tie up on that edge. Huh?
Don't need so much, do you?
No. It's going to be a little bit fiddly to get it out. Ticky ticky. Okay. So I'm going to take this up the edge there, like so. And hopefully when we lift this off, hey, it's going to keep it all as one. So that means then I can apply my glue. Now the glue I'm using is sticks to 3D PVA, so you don't need a lot of it at all. So you can see I'm just doing these tiny little dots. So I'm going to put that back into its corner. And then we can gently remove our press and seal. There we go. Next, let's go for our smaller elements. We can start to tuck those in just a little bit. So again, don't need too much glue. And I'm going to work along this bottom edge. So let's go for a little bit just in there. We have another little flower just here that I think will tuck in there nicely. Okay, and let's go tuck that under that leaf there. Like so, and one little stem of berries that I'm going to go, let's pop a little bit more glue under that. There we go. Stick that down underneath there. And finish off that side like so. Then we can stick on our sentiment and tuck that in our card. So you can also use self-adhesive, well, not self-adhesive, but double-sided adhesive onto the back of your card if you're cutting lots of detailed elements and don't want to have to do this bit. Okay, now I'm going to pop that just there. Yeah, don't forget the little dot. It's one of those ones where it's easier to apply the glue to the card than the little dot. Okay. And then wrong drawer. Let's pull out, just because we didn't get a chance to do that just so I'm just going to do a little bit of doodling. I'm just going to go round the edge.
Yeah, the bottles are from Sticks 2 as well, aren't they? They're
Yes.
fine glue applicator bottles, so they come with a nice fine tip on the end, so they're great for doing little small bits, and then we just refill them, don't we, with the...
So you can do this much neater than I'm doing at the moment, because I'm conscious of time. And you're just going to work all the way around. And the gel pen that I'm using is an Arteza one, and it's the 08, which is the bold one. And you can just work your way around, and it just helps your words stand out that little bit better. Oh. Huh?
Mixture of emoticons popped up there.
Okay, so let's get around there and we'll call that done. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into some of the ways that you can use your scan and cut to make your life a little easier as a crafter. And we will see you tomorrow when we'll be doing something totally different. I haven't decided yet, because is it Friday we're doing the...
Friday we're doing your vote count.
And print and cut, wasn't it, we've had a request for?
Yeah, that's good with the CM though, isn't it? So.
Yes. Okay. So there we go. Very little, quick little card. Quick. There we go. And we can pop that in that envelope. Now you do want to go careful when you're popping it in that it doesn't get trapped around your lettering. And then it's in the envelope. From this side you've got a nice plain aperture, and then when they pull it out they get all the nice detail.
Yes, don't forget 2 o'clock we have a video that Debbie's put together for us, who's one of our design team members. So that's going to be on at 2 o'clock this afternoon on Plannercraft. So do have a look. And sorry, I missed the information regarding the glue and the fine nib. Yep,
okay.
Go on, I'll let you.
So the bottles and the glue are both from Sticks 2. So the bottles are the fine glue applicator bottles, and they come with the pins to go in them as well. Then you have inside, you've got 3D PVA glue. Yes, the envelope was made yesterday, so if you go back to yesterday's live, we made the envelope on the scan and cut. It's actually a built-in design. And then we took it into canvas and welded a word. The word is from the Paige Evans foil quill USB. So this one just here. That we then turn that so that we could have it cutting out nicely. And then we drew it with a Sharpie pen using the Sharpie pen holder.
That's it, you're more than welcome. I'll go back to it again, but we'll catch up now in the links. Yeah, no worries. So there's about 300 videos to catch up on, so by all means go back and watch.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots of videos that we've done, that we started back in March last year.
Yeah, so we've nearly been doing this for a year.
Yes, that's quite scary. Yes.
If you are looking at the foil quill designs, if you want to save the planet and save yourself some money in the process, you can actually download them from the We Are Memory Keepers website rather than purchasing the USBs. So it works out a little bit cheaper that way.
Yes, lots of...
I think you could probably manage a couple of bottles by the time you finished. Actually, make that a couple of cases.
Did you say the list of subjects you're covering each week on here?
We were going to try doing that, and then Boris decided to put us in lockdown. So originally the plan was that we were going to do a technique-focused set of streams for this month. Then Boris put us in lockdown, and I thought we needed something a little bit more
Light-hearted
and a bit more fun.
Yeah, so we're putting that on hold till after lockdown, aren't we? So middle of Feb.
Yeah.
We're aiming to start the technical one, which is what the covers are for. So make sure to enter the competition as well.
Yeah. So that you're ready to go then on the 16th of Feb, as we'll live in hope that we'll be out of lockdown by then.
Yes.
So, any more questions before we go? No? I know, it's so when we say things on here, it's like 30-second lead time before you hear them. It's very weird.
You got a thank you. You got a heart off Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Then says thank you so much. See you later.
You're welcome. We enjoy doing this, don't we?
We do.
So, then I'm going to hop over to Lou, who went live at 12, probably.
Yeah.
And do a bit more journaling. So if you saw my journaling page yesterday, that was from Lou's live on her Junk Journals group. So if you want to have a go at that too, you can hop over there right now. So take care.
Thank you, Lee.
And
It's the first time, and it was great to see this demonstration.
thank you, Lee.
So we do this every day, so at 11 o'clock. We're here Monday to Friday. So if you want to see some more, we'll be back tomorrow. So
Okay.
don't forget, Debs is on it too as well.
So take care and bye.